I'm Dr. George Flinn, and you're watching InDepth TV. Today, we're going to talk about goal setting. That's right, goal setting. And I'm going to explain to you how about half of what you know about goal setting is wrong. The question is, which half? Goal setting. So you talk to people, and I've talked about it, and I'm sure you've heard many people talk about setting goals. You can set goals for the next hour, the next day, you can just set a goal. And a lot of people will say, I have a goal. And I'll say, well, what is it? They'll say, well, to make a lot of money. And I say, well, okay, you can make a lot of money. How much money? Oh, just a lot. I said, well, that's easy then. You can do that very rapidly. I said, well, really? How do you do that? And I said, well, you move to Washington, D.C. or Denver or somewhere like that, and you go work in the mint. You make a lot of money. They said, oh, no, I didn't mean that. I said, well, what did you mean? They said, and I would coach them and tell them, okay, here's what you really meant. You want to earn a lot of money. And the question is, how much? And how do you get it? By what time? And so that's part of that type goal. There's another type. You say, I want a new car. Or they'll say, I want a new this or a new that. One person said, I want a car. And I said, okay, what kind of car? He said, oh, it's too much, I can't afford it. I said, no, you tell me what kind of car. They said, well, I want I'll pick one. I want an Oldsmobile or a Chevrolet. And I'll say, okay, or a Ford. Let's say he said a Ford. I'm changing the story because you might figure out who it is. But said, I want a Ford. I said, okay, I'll give you a Ford. They said, really? I said, yeah. I've got a 1950 Ford. It's beat up. It's got flat tires. It doesn't run, but I'm going to give it to you. They said, no. I want a new Ford. I said, but you didn't say that. And I said, well, what color would you like? He said, and they had to think about it. They said, a white Ford. And I said, well, do you want it, how many doors? They said, 4-door. And I said, well, is it convertible or is it a regular car? They said, it's a convertible. I said, well, that can only be 2 doors then. So then we got down to it, and they came down to the kind of car explicitly what they wanted. You want to be very precise at what you want, because you're probably going to get it. So let's be precise. And someone else said, it came down to money, and they said, I want to be surrounded by money. I want money around me all over the place. And I said, okay. And they wouldn't get any more defined than that. And a couple of weeks later, they were working at a bank. Yeah, they were surrounded by money. It wasn't their money, but they were surrounded by money. So what I'm saying is, you've got to be specific when you're setting your goals. And once you're specific about it, once you get very, very focused on it, you take it and you write it down. You can't just say in your head over and over and over, I'm going to do this and do that. Write it down. You put it on paper, pen and paper or pencil and paper. And once you get it written down, you've got your goal. Now, what does everyone say to do? Everyone else. Most people will say. You pin that goal up on your mirror, or you put it in your pocket. You look at it 15 times a day, and you make sure you keep it focused in your mind. That's where we're going to have a little difference. This is like a farmer. Your goal is a seed, and you take the seed and you plant it in the ground. Your goal, that thing on the paper, is like that seed. You've written it down. You've planted your seed you planted your whatever, tomato seed or whatever it was, some kind of seed in the ground. Then I want you to expect to get this goal. So you're going to write thank you on top of the paper. You're going to fold it up. You're going to put it away. You're going to put it in a desk. You're going to put it in a briefcase. You're going to put it under a blotter. You're going to put it somewhere where you don't see it. Don't focus on the goal. You've written it down. You've put it, the seed, you've planted the seed in your head. You've said thank you. You're expecting to get it. So there you go. And you say, well, why not look at it every day? Well, if you plant that tomato seed or whatever kind of seed it is, and you pull it up every day to look at it and see if it's growing, and you dig it up every day, dig it up, is it going to grow? No, it's not going to grow. You know that, and I know that. So I'm saying put the goal and the acceptance of the goal in your head. Now, why do you write thank you on there? A lot of people, and you may be in this group and you may not be, but a lot of people will say, okay, I've got my goal, but you know, it's really too much. I'm never going to get that. Just not going to get it. It's not in my DNA. I wasn't meant to get it. But the problem is you're putting up your own barriers to getting what you would like to have. You're putting up these barriers, and once you put up the barriers, your subconscious says, okay, he wants it, but he's sure he's not going to get it, so let's make it where he doesn't get it, or she doesn't get it. When you say thank you, it means you have received it. Someone does a favor for you, someone gives you something, you say thank you, means I receive it. Thank you very much. So you've written it on the paper. It means mentally you have received it. And now we can move on with things. So you've put the goal out there, you've received it, you've planted it, and now if you plant tomato seeds, now I don't know much about gardening. Maybe it's a tomato plant, or maybe it's some kind of seed, a watermelon seed or some. What's going to come up? Yeah, what you planted, watermelon. You're not going to expect squash or something else to come up once you plant watermelon seeds. You've planted this goal. You're expecting that to come up. You've said thank you. You've accepted it. You've not dug it up. You've not looked at it. Let it go and receive it. And I don't mean to talk ethereal about this. This is practical. If you'll do these things, then it's going to work for you. If you continue to set goals and look at them daily and do all of that, that's okay. But you'll probably get 2 or 3 out of your 10 goals. If you want to raise your percentage of number of goals that you achieve, this is the way to do it. And that's why I would like for you to consider doing it a different way. Different way than is taught, a different way that is expounded upon. There's so many seminars on goal setting, so many seminars on achievement, so many seminars on what to do. Like if you're in an organization, a church, and you can see, you have 20 members and you can see 300 members. You write it down, what you want, and you say thank you, and you plant that seed, and you don't mess with it. Let it grow. And what will happen, it's interesting about a car or about and I tell you what, you can do an experiment on this, and you don't have to go through much. Start thinking about a specific kind of car. and pick an odd color for the car, like orange or purple. And a specific car, a Dodge or a Mercedes or a Cadillac or a Ford or a Chevy or some kind of car, or a Nissan. Just pick a car and pick an odd color. And just watch. Over the next day or two, you'll begin to see that car, that type color. You'll begin to see them on the street. Try it. Just try it. Because I think you'll be amazed. When you see that happen, then you say to yourself, maybe I'll try this system. And it's really not a system. It's goals. But it's how you appeal to that goal-making, that goal-setting system that's in your brain, and how you make that thing work for you rather than saying, I'll never get that. That's making it work against you. Have you ever noticed that we're so good at visualizing negative things? If you ask somebody, how you feeling today, and they feel okay, they say, feel fine. That's all they say, I feel fine. But if you ask somebody how they're feeling and they feel a little bit bad, they say, oh man, I feel terrible. I feel terrible. I got a headache. My sinuses are bothering me. I've got a neck ache. I've lifted something wrong. My shoulders are hurting. Notice how animated people get when they're talking about the negative things. That prevents the good stuff from coming in. So if someone asks you how you're doing and you're fine, you say, man, I feel great today. I can't believe how great I feel. I used to have all of this stuff, and you can say, if you did, you can say, I used to have it, but I don't anymore. You keep saying, but I don't anymore. And I feel great today. Everything's so much better. Everything looks so much brighter. And that's the way you program yourself gently to be on the more, positive side. If you already knew that whatever you put in your mind, if you already knew that you were going to get this and it was yours, how would you feel? Would you feel a little more upbeat, a little more smiling, a little more positive? Just treat it like you've already got it, because you said thank you and you're going to get this. It's just, what is your mood going to be while you're waiting the time period to get it? Might as well be a good mood. Why be in a bad mood? Does it help? No, it actually slows things down. So don't force yourself. You can just learn to, there was an old song, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. And don't mess with Mr. In Between. I don't know why I remember those lines, but this is something you can do. This is something that, you as an individual can change the things that are around you by changing your attitude toward it. You can't change what happens to you. You can change your response to it. And that makes all the difference, changing your response. Just remember, make those goals. Write on there, thank you. Fold them up or put them in an envelope or put them somewhere where you're not looking at them every day. And watch what happens. I hope I've convinced you on this. And I want to know that things are going well for you. And you can email me, George@Flinn, FLINN.com. And just let me know, George@Flinn, FLINN.com. And let me know your success stories, because I want to hear about them, and give me permission and I'll share them with other people on the broadcast. I'm George Flinn. You've been watching InDepth TV. Thank you. See you next time.